Welcome back to another exciting episode of Game Week 39. My name is Katuchiro Matiza. I'm your host for the show. And as usual, I'm never alone, never ever alone. I'm with my co-host here, Mario. Mario, welcome back, bro. We're here.
You know what's happening? Never riding solo. What's happening, Game Week 39 world? We are back with another one. You know what it is.
You know.
Back off a short break.
A short break.
A quite short break.
Yeah.
We're coming to the tail end of it.
It is the tail end.
To where the rubber meets the road. So,
yeah.
So this is where we get it, my guy. This is where we get it for real.
Right. Yes, it is. And as Mario is saying, we're getting to the tail end of things. Game week 32. I don't want to say done and dusted. We know that it's a double game week, so there's still a game that's kicking off tomorrow. So Wednesday is the last game, Newcastle versus Crystal Palace. But game week 33 is here, and we're here to give you all the analysis that you're gonna need. So without wasting any time, Mario, I think let's get into the results for game week 32. Of course, keeping in mind that there's still a game to go. But maybe we can kick off with Manchester City versus Crystal Palace. City 5-2. I was watching that game. I think I watched the first half of the game before I had to get on the road. But it looked like typical Man City. Being beaten by Crystal Palace in the early a few minutes of the game, 2 goals down, and looking as if they're gonna receive a few more. But things started to turn, and when I checked the scoreline later, I learned that it was 5-2 to Man City. I don't know, your thoughts? Did you watch the whole game?
Yeah, no, it was some crazy events unfolding there at the end. Like you said, it looked like Man City doing what Man City does. So this has been a trend lately, they were 2-0 down. And then at halftime, if I'm not mistaken, it was 2-0 in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And before halftime, they had equalized. And then in the second half, they took the game over. Kevin De Bruyne came close, I believe, before
they did. He hit the post. He was assisting.
Yeah, he was knocking on the door, looking like vintage Kevin De Bruyne. As soon as he announces he wants to leave,
and then
he starts putting in.
He comes back from the ashes, rises.
Yeah, like a phoenix from the ashes. But it was a good game. Man City, when I saw that 2-0 after 20 minutes, I thought it was done. I even put my phone away. I wasn't watching the game. I saw, because I was also on the road. So I saw the notification and I put my phone down. I was like, it's done. So when
it's just a matter of how many Mateta's gonna get.
Exactly. So when I saw the result, I'm thinking, no, maybe they came back after halftime. But then not shortly after the second goal, Man City found another gear, and hey, did they ever?
Yeah.
Did they ever?
No, but it was a good game, I think, for FPL managers. Regardless of whichever asset you had from Crystal Palace or Manchester City, I think most of the owned assets, they all returned. Ismail Issa with an assist, Eze with a goal, except for Mateta, of course, and Munoz. Munoz returning a dismal 0. Hey, my guy. So, actually, I take that back. It was only Eze and Ismail Issa that... had some good returns there. But I think from Manchester City, Mamouche did return. I had Guardiola. I know some other managers as well. They had Guardiola. But unfortunately, couldn't contribute to this 5-2, which is a bit of a surprise because usually you'd expect him to sort of like,
have a goal or two.
Exactly, getting some points there. But that was how that cookie crumbled. And just now, before we went on the pod, I think... Mario caught me watching the highlights from Nottingham versus Everton. As he was walking in, I was just, in shock of how, Nottingham lost this game. I think it was quite disappointing. Right at the end of the game, a mistake by Morello at the back while the Nottingham were trying to go for it. And, they were punished. Your thoughts, Mario? Nottingham 0, 1 Everton.
If I was gonna lose my clean sheet, I would have loved to lose it in a loss, which happened. It's just unfortunate. Hey, Chelsea couldn't come up with the goods, but I guess we'll get there later. Nottingham Forest, like I said, don't know if you know the meme where you go, Yeah, you know that. Yeah, that's not. That's,
Check it on the screen. Now we know it.
that's Nottingham Forest
Yeah.
since the turn of January.
Yeah.
They haven't been doing so well. And saving Chelsea's blushes there with the draw. Even though Chelsea obviously are probably going to be. No, they're not probably they're sixth. They're probably going to remain sixth till going into the next game week. Nottingham Forest ish, not looking too good. I'd have to look at their fixtures. But I think this is the second loss for them in a row.
They play Spurs after this. Back-to-back losses, as you say.
Back-to-back losses. They play Spurs. What do you call that? Fantasy football.
FDR.
How is giving them a 16% chance of keeping a clean sheet, which is the second low or third lowest, only beaten by Southampton at 13% and Leicester with 8%. So hey, I don't know if I would
And
be
nothing
jumping
much
onto-
has changed in defense because I mean Sals is still there. I think Aina is still there.
Yeah, but
Milenkovic
like,
is there.
I guess
Marulo.
if you look at the teams in and around the position they're in, these are teams with great depth.
Yeah.
team.
So and I think they've been filled in the same team.
So they're running. I feel like they're running out of steam. The late injury, the injury to Chris Wood, taking him out of the game while he was in red hot form like that. Gibbs White not looking as fresh as he was at the beginning of the season. Not even Callum Hudson-Odoi chipping in those 1 or 2 odd goals that fall into a lung for a long period of time, but he's not the type of player who can be consistent on that level. So I think if they're not careful, they might lose it at the end. They have Tottenham, which might be a difficult game. Tottenham is weak, so they could probably win it. But then with the percentage of clean sheet chances, Brentford
it's quite what can I say?
bleak
A bleak
at the moment.
A bleak one for them because I mean they've been flying high. They were the first team to give us our first loss of the season.
And it seemed like a joke back then when it happened.
You know,
but then they've went and given a lot of teams losses.
Exactly over the season, and I mean they're just a point away from being dethroned from third position with Newcastle playing tomorrow. So the chances are
Newcastle have a game in hand.
Newcastle have a game in hand. So the chances are if Newcastle wins against Palace, hopefully they'll be praying that Palace does them a favor because Palace is also red hot.
Yeah, pretty good.
Hopefully they'll want to bounce back from that City loss as we were just speaking about earlier.
Hey, like for me, it's one of those Newcastle and Crystal Palace. If Newcastle win, my gamble on bringing Eddie Howe in as my assistant manager is repaid because they win obviously with goals. And the win points is gonna get 20 plus points. If they lose, and Isak is my captain, obviously hopefully returns.
Oh yes, already sitting on 10.
So if they do, I get the benefit of that. If they don't,
you get the benefit of being a Chelsea supporter.
I get the benefit of them being
the predicament.
within pissing distance of Chelsea because Chelsea's are on 54, they're on 57.
They're on 56. If they lose, they stay on 56. You guys are on 54. A win for you guys.
Then would be able to propel us.
Yeah, I don't know if you still have to play them.
I'm not sure. I'd have to check that one. But we still
Quite
have
interesting.
To, we still have
I'm
to
loving
play,
this. I'm loving this.
Nottingham Forest. And what's the goal difference for Nottingham Forest?
Well, goal difference, we're looking at, what is this, 13
and Chelsea's what, 17?
And Chelsea's 17.
And if we all win our games to the end of the season, which is probably unlikely, and Nottingham is still going to drop points, we probably will too. But if we meet at the end of the season and there's 3 points or less that separate us, and we put hands on Nottingham Forest, we qualify for the Champions League.
The calculations.
That's all I'm saying. We have a fighting chance as long as we can match or better the results from now to the end of the season.
No, the table is quite exciting, but we'll keep talking about it as we go on. But let's move on to the next week. Southampton 0, 3 Aston Villa. We were having a laugh earlier saying if you had Asensio on your team, you're probably having a terrible game week.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Freddy
Krueger came up and dragged down all those Asensio owners. And look, I was pretty tempted to bring in Asensio.
Me too, because
But
I
then
played my wild card.
But I brought in Morgan Rogers
Same
instead
here.
because he's more affordable.
Yeah.
And I couldn't afford Asensio with bringing Eddie Howe in. So it ended up working out perfectly for me.
Yeah.
If I had scored the 2 penalties, I would have been kicking myself, saying I should have
brought him in.
found a way to force him in.
Yeah.
Because he'd have 2 goals, probably.
Yeah, my guy.
Clean sheet
Speaking of that, as I said, I played a wild card, and I remember I was deciding whether I should just, bring in Asensio. He's been great on penalties. He's a penalty take, of course. He scores goals, and it's just been a revelation for Aston Villa. But my gut feeling told me that, you know what, sometimes just stick to what works. I stuck to Rogers, but also funds were a big thing because I think at some point I needed to shift some players around in order to get my team together. But I'm glad that's how it turned out. But yeah, it could have been, I think, an 8-goal, show for Aston Villa. But Ramsdale, we saw.
You're stealing my off the camera. You're stealing my off the camera, right? My off the camera notes here.
Yeah, as I said, we was having this chat earlier before.
But you must say, fella, that's plagiarism. Like, you must get it yourself.
Get the peep out of here, man.
As you say, my friend. Quote me. Continue to quote.
So yeah,
it could have been an 8-goal.
It could have been.
Truly could have been an 8-goal.
We see Ramsdale with the saves, as we also saw, and as we're gonna see
7 saves
as well going
2
forward.
penalty saves as well.
Exactly.
On top of the 7 saves.
Exactly.
Crazy.
So it says a lot. But anyway, it doesn't change anything. They are relegated, right? And it's over for Southampton in the Premier League for this season. Arsenal won. Brentford won. For me, it was a good result. It's always a good result when Arsenal drop points. As much as one can say there's nothing really to expect from Arsenal. I mean, this is football, but the more they drop points,
there's no risk of them winning the league. So this is unnecessary. They should have just given us our clean sheet. Left it at 0-0. It was 0-0 going into the second half. Should have just ended 0-0. And it would have been fine. But this stuff of them conceding, but then at least they double game week against weaker opposition, but Palace might give them a headache.
No, Palace won't be an easy fixture. Ipswich as well. It won't be an easy fixture. I don't know why you're saying it will be a walk in the park when they just also almost gave you guys hands. Mario?
What's that?
I'm saying, are they not playing Ipswich and Palace?
Ipswich is weak. Chelsea is just tired. Chelsea is just tired.
So Ipswich is weak.
Ipswich is weak.
Chelsea almost got hands.
Ipswich is getting relegated. I don't know.
And you're saying Arsenal is better than Chelsea right now.
Chelsea.
This is coming out from your mouth that they'll likely win.
Chelsea is there's voodoo teams. Ipswich, Manchester City. Those two.
You guys gave us a good show. Was it earlier this season or earlier last season?
No, I mean, no matter how well we play. When I watched the end, okay, at least I watched the end of that Ipswich game. Chelsea could have scored 3 or 4 goals at the end of that game in the last 5-6 minutes.
I saw Kopama had an assist there.
He had an assist there. Sancho scored a beautiful goal. I don't think he's going to go back to Manchester.
This is us, by the way, moving from the Arsenal versus Brentford going into the Chelsea versus Ipswich 2-2 fixture.
Yeah. Okay, nice pivot. But anyway, we went down 2-0 early. Had to fight back. Once we fought back, should have won the game. We should have never been in that position to begin with. Overall, we deserved to win that game. But maybe others would say Ipswich deserved because they went 2-0 up early and they took their chances. So I guess you play silly games, you win silly prizes.
Yeah.
Chelsea played silly games at Stamford Bridge, and hence they won a silly prize, which was a draw.
I see Nick is back. Nick Jackson is back. Is it his first game?
No, he's been back. This is his second game.
Okay.
Third game even, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and the chemistry, is it starting to pick up again between him and Palmer? I see Palmer also had an assist this game.
I was on my way back from Durban when this game was playing, so I caught a bit of it on my phone.
Yeah.
So I can't really comment on that game, but the lost 2 games before that. The chemistry was good. I like Jackson. He created a lot of chances, which he does. He can create chances for himself and for others, which is a good thing. He's just not a clinical finisher, which he's 23. I guess he'll learn it. By the time he's 25, he might be a monster.
Yeah.
Or he might just be that guy who's good at beating players at pace and assisting, but never that clinical guy. Maybe Bajiro was clinical in his moments, but he was never that full clinic. He missed a lot of chances as well. But yeah, he could end up being like a Giroud kind of player, or like a Nicolas Anelka, if you remember.
Yeah, I remember Nicholas. Yeah. Nicholas. All right. Speaking of clinical players, Mohamed Salah. He comes back with an assist. He comes back. He comes back with an assist.
Did you
A
captain
beautiful.
him again?
No. I captained Isaac. He comes back with a beautiful assist to Diaz for a tap in there, and Liverpool goes on to win 2-1 against West Ham. It was not an easy one. I think the equalizer that came from, I believe it was Gerard Bowen, if I'm not mistaken. I can't recall actually, but I'll just check. It was a late winner with a corner kick from McAllister, scored by our, Captain Fantastic, Virgil van Dijk. I don't know if you watched that game. It was on Sunday.
If I struggled to watch Chelsea. You know what I did see? Okay, I didn't see, but I got back late. I heard people screaming as I was entering my state where I stay.
On Sunday?
On Sunday. Because Chiefs Chelsea Sundowns. You should have opened with that Chiefs Chelsea Sundowns. That's key. I live in Victoria. Maybe I shouldn't be speaking about this so loud.
Guy. You might not make it home.
See you in the final, buddy. See you in the final.
We're in the finals. Why is it in KZN?
You know how it is. They always... And for
actually,
some
the
reason,
NetBank Cup is always in KZN.
They always get
MTN 8 always used to be in
they always
KZN.
get that Moses Mabida gets finals nobody's business.
No, that's true.
When last did we have a final at FNB Stadium?
Man, even changed things up. I mean,
even Loftus
would have been
Peter Mugawa.
Even Peter Mugawa.
But yeah, what will we say? Back to FPL. Captain Fantastic.
Moves us very close to the title. I think there were permutations that were being calculated that next game week could be us lifting the title, Arsenal giving us the guard of honor, Chelsea giving us the guard of honor. I will not playing you guys in the next 2 fixtures after this one.
No, and you only get the guard of honor from the next team that. First
team
immediately after
Arsenal might be giving us the guard of honor.
Not every team from the come on.
We shall see.
Respect
us. We shall see.
The very first team who play after winning the title.
Let's see. We play Leicester, and then after that, we play Spurs. Ideally, we will be likely winning the title from here, and then. From there on,
Chelsea still have
we
to play
Chelsea.
What kind of
They'll be giving us the guard of honor.
Because Spurs will give you the guard of honor because you guys are gonna beat Leicester. You guys,
but Arsenal might win, right?
No, they said you guys can clinch the title.
We still need 6 points. We need 6 points to win the title. So if Arsenal loses and we win,
how is it 6 points? I saw somewhere that you can clinch the title.
I also heard the same, but I'm not understanding that mathematics.
Yeah, maybe.
So hence, I believe that against Spurs, we need 6 points without needing Arsenal to lose or to draw or whatever.
What does Arsenal play next?
Arsenal plays Ipswich and then they play Palace. It's a double game week for them.
Also, if they lose one of their double game games, then
it's over. It's over. But if they don't. We need to beat Leicester, we need to beat Spurs, and then you guys give us the guard of honor.
You ain't getting shit.
It's not up to you, Mario.
But anyway, this league has long been gone.
Yeah.
Can you speak to this guy? Or just edit him out. But anyway,
you won't hear the end of it.
Next fixture, please. That is it. Wolves Tottenham. I told you. Cunha. Coming back.
So this is Wolverhampton 4-2 Tottenham. I had Engineer on my bench. He's my last sub. He's currently sitting on
Did he score?
14 points. He scored a goal, assisted, and Amper kept a clean sheet.
As for Amper, when he conceded 2 goals.
Yeah, that one was a lousy mistake from Semedo. Hey, I was so gutted, man. I'm like, why? I've had Aunt Nuri starting as my starting 11.
But me, I told you about Spurs and their weakness. Mateus tell.
Yes, but I mean, if you look at that fixture, you know Spurs has goals, right? So I think my decision in dropping Aunt Nuri was still valid in the sense that we know they've goals. They have goals. They might lose, but they have goals, right? But unfortunately, what I didn't calculate is the fact that he will score, which is it was not necessarily the best goal, to be honest, but it was a good goal, I would say. And then the second one was more of a deflection, but I think it was awarded to him for that.
Not you looking to Tia for validation.
It's FPL. What can we do, my friend? But even the validation with him sitting last on my bench.
But anyway, like I said,
Yeah.
Jürgen Strand Larsen has been in quite good form, considering Cunha has been out. But I could have told you this for free. Wolves was always going to Charles Spurs. That was always going to happen. Especially with Cunha back itching, having set out 3 game weeks, just watching. He's been lying in wait and he got his goal.
And he did.
He could have killed so bad. The way that those fixtures that Wolves had, Cunha really missed out.
No. Yes. That was no. I thought like you're talking about the ones that are remaining.
The ones that are remaining. I don't know if Wolves have good enough fixtures for me to. They have Man United, which is a walkover.
They have
Leicester.
No. Where are you seeing Man United? They have Arsenal. They have Newcastle.
Am I looking at the wrong?
They have Everton. They have Brentford. They have Leicester. And they have West Ham.
No,
Oh yeah, you're right.
That's Ipswich. Wolves play Man United next, and Man United are catching hands. I can tell you that for free.
Yeah,
if you want to say nice odds on Betway, go straight win. Wolves.
Yeah.
You can even give them straight and over 2.5 because it might be a 2-1 situation. No, a 3-1.
Leicester catching hands.
Leicester catching hands. Man City, I hope. Please, Wolves. I say believe though. You're like a dang. Give Man City hands. Give those guys hands. Come on. If Wolves can give City hands, it's just Kevin De Bruyne is on his freaking
This is you hoping for top 3, top 4.
That's the freaking Kevin De Bruyne.
The calculations.
He's on his freaking Taylor Swift tour. Out here trying to sell out stadiums and stuff and have like assists and goals and all of these things before he leaves. It's just horrible. Kevin De Bruyne, just leave quietly in peace, man. There's no need for that. But Wolves, Brighton, Crystal Palace, Brentford, those are a bit trickier games because those are like their age mates.
So
they might give them. So I don't know if I'll jump onto Wolves. But focus on double game week.
All right. And then let's finalize these results. Newcastle 4-1, Man United. I saw that United, the first goal that they conceded, they seemed to be trying to play from the back. It looked very beautiful.
They seemed to be trying to play.
Because it didn't work out, they conceded by attempting to do that.
I know, it's either you do something.
No, they didn't get it right. So they seem to be trying to play from the back. They conceded. The goalkeeper, I don't know what he's trying to do. He kicks a lousy ball out. It just goes into, who's this guy? Joe Linton. Perfect assist for, I think, Bruno Guimaraes. He scores there. And, Harvey Barnes literally dancing between the defense. That was so shameful.
I always thought this. I wish we got Harvey Barnes instead of Kieran Dewsbury Hall. Harvey Barnes has always been that guy for me. And the injury that took him out for a year and a half, really damaged him. And then that was when the rise of Gordon happened.
Correct. And then he was now second on that starting 11.
But then Harvey Barnes has been in some very good form for Newcastle. And he's been consistent. He's been solid. And he's becoming the player that I've always known. I've always known Harvey.
Joint equal on 8 goals with Murphy.
with Murphy, Jacob Murphy. Who's had a nice breakthrough
Who's also
season
had a
for
very nice breakthrough on
himself
the
this
left.
season.
On the right, sorry.
But yeah, ish. Manchester United.
Glory, glory.
What do we even say?
Where are the glory days?
What do we even say? Actually, see, I forget about Nottingham Forest with that meme. Now, this is Manchester United, but under the table. Like this.
So where's Man United on the log? Maybe let's have a look.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's just that it's impossible for them to fight relegation, but they're there.
14th.
They're there. They're in and about.
Oh, hectic. Okay, well, I think they might just have survived the relegation, right?
No, they have.
Because if they lose all their games and Spurs wins, Wolverhampton wins, and West Ham wins, I don't see how they cannot finish just above relegation.
Because if Ipswich win all their games, that's how many points? It's 6 times 3.
Wait. So how many games are left? 6.
6. So it's
18 points.
So they'd be on 39. And how many if Man United lost all their games?
Oh, it's possible. I said it. Remember that I said United could fight relegation.
You must. We know it's
So United needs to win one more game. Actually, they need a draw.
They're not quite safe from relegation.
They need a draw. They need a draw to
like that.
Yeah, they need a draw.
At the moment, Manchester United is not quite safe from relegation.
Not yet. Not yet.
In.
Maximum
How
points.
How many goals have they scored this season?
I think they've scored 38 goals?
38, and they've conceded 40.
They're 45. 45 goals conceded, 38 scored, bringing them to a goal difference of -7.
CR7. -7.
Why are you saying CR7, not Mason Mount?
Zola 7.
It's Mason Mount.
7 peso.
All right, Mario.
Yes,
that is I think that is Man United. They're trying things out, man. They're trying things out, trying to play from the back, trying a new goalkeeper. But as you saw, these things are not yet working.
They must keep on trying. Just keep on trying.
But there was some good play. I think we need to give credit where it's due. I saw the combination between Eriksen, Bruno Fernandes, and Zegzi there. With the good finish. I think come on.
Even you say that is just laughable.
No, I think let's give them credit. Man United, I feel like they did
give them credit. Well. They lost 4-1.
No, I'm saying for the play. Let's look for some positivity, Mario.
Look for what positivity.
All right, Mario, let's look into the red green arrows, yeah? On your side, I don't know how are things looking.
Let me check.
How are things looking?
Technically I'm on 46 points, but green.
Just a few reds here and there.
3 reds, 3 neutrals, and the rest are green. Like about 6 greens.
On my side, all my mini leagues, grey. No movement, nothing.
How many points do you have?
I'm sitting on 48 points. So as things stand, you took a -8 and you're currently sitting on 48 points. 48 or 46? Sorry, this was a typo. 46 points. Mario, you're on 46 points. We both captained Isak, who gave us 10 points. But you have a deadly chip that you have played. I say deadly because of what you just said earlier. You have an assistant manager, and you're hoping that Newcastle wins for your chip to get you, I think, almost 20 points now. Yes. So if Newcastle doesn't win, it's bad for FPL, but it's good for your team. But
it's good for Chelsea.
Yeah. So that's
if they do
win,
it's good for my FPL.
Yes.
So I'll go either way.
There's something to celebrate.
I'm going to go to sleep peacefully.
Which one would you want?
Either or.
I think you want the Chelsea more, my friend. You want to be in the Champions League next season, eh? Imagine a whole season not being in the Champions League.
I want to reduce this gap by
the gap. You're not. You see what Dixon is doing there. All right. Let's move on to the standout players. We see Ramsdale. As we said, Ramsdale 2 saves that he did, or rather that he was able to, pull out against Aston Villa, saving 2 penalties from Asensio. He sits on 16 points, voted king of the game week. And his market value is 4.4 million, owned by 1.2% of managers. So if any manager had Ramsdale on the bench, maybe because they're trying to save some funds and there's an auto sub that is coming, I'm sure you guys are happy there. But yeah, kudos to that 1.2% of managers that had Ramsdale. And then we speak about Harvey Barnes. Harvey Barnes, as we said, I mean, 2 goals from Harvey Barnes, a tap in from an assist from Jacob Murphy, and that beautiful goal between the Man United defense and a great finish brings him to 15 points this current game week with 5.9%. 5.9 million as his market value and 2%. That's the teams that own Harvey Barnes. He still stands to gain a lot more because remember, Newcastle are playing. Newcastle have a game tomorrow. So that's Harvey Barnes for you. And I think with that performance, he deserves to start again. And I think Gordon came in as a sub, if I'm not mistaken.
He's coming back from injury.
Exactly. So Harvey Barnes is likely going to start again. And then we have Aint Nouri. I spoke about Aint Nouri. He scored a goal and also got an assist. So 14 points for Aint Nouri there, making up that top 3. His market value is 4.8 million, owned by 8.6% of managers. I'm one of that 8.6%, but I had him on my bench, so I am gutted. Terribly, terribly disappointed by that. But yeah, it is FPL. We move on, Mario. We look at the next fixtures that are coming. I don't know, maybe if you just want to touch a bit more on the last fixture of Game Week 32, which is Newcastle versus Palace. How do you see that one unfolding tomorrow night?
I would say probably 2-1 Palace. 2-1 Newcastle.
2-1 Newcastle.
Yeah, I think Newcastle's form, the hunger for Champions League, I find it difficult to believe. To be honest, if I'm looking at the hunger of the teams competing to qualify for the Champions League, it looks like Newcastle and Nottingham Forest are more hungry than we are.
So Newcastle and Nottingham, I understand Newcastle, they're starting to come back. I mean, there was a point where
they're catching a second wind.
Yes.
They had dropped some form. They had went like 8 straight.
Yeah.
When Isak went on that,
correct. And was breaking records there. Correct.
That attempt to break the record, but
hundreds.
And then they dropped off a bit with Isak's form, and then now they're catching a nice second wind at the perfect time. I kind of felt like the same was gonna happen for Chelsea, or was happening for Chelsea.
Yeah.
We won, and then we went to Brentford. A game I felt we could have won. We drew. Ipswich, a game I felt we could have won. We drew, which I felt were like 2 good games, very winnable games.
So, as you said, Chelsea seem to not be catching that second wind. Newcastle look very much in that position, as you said. Nottingham seem to be on the opposite side, just like Chelsea, dropping in form.
Manchester City. Chelsea, for what I would say about Chelsea is that they're like more lukewarm, cold. They're supposed to be giving us the wins, what we're expecting, and they're not. Even if it's not a loss, it feels like so much like a loss that when it does so much damage, it's basically a loss. Even if they've had 2 draws in their last game, they might have been 2 losses. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think Nottingham Forest with the 2 L's is a little bit worse because getting yourself out of losing is a little bit more difficult. But we'll see. Chelsea's just mid, and I think it will come down to that final game of the season.
I think so too. I think so. Not just Chelsea, because I'm just looking at from 7th position to 3rd position. I think this is going to be one of the most exciting ends to the season. 54 points Aston Villa, 54 points Chelsea, 55 points Manchester City, 56 points. This is Newcastle. 57 points Nottingham. That is a 3-point gap between 7th and 3rd.
Yeah, but Aston Villa play Newcastle and Man City. If I'm not mistaken, I'll just have to make sure.
So I think if we look at the remaining fixtures, right? I'm pulling them up now. Specifically going into the FDR as well. So I mean, Aston Villa, they have Newcastle, they have Man City, they have Fulham, they have Bournemouth, they have Tottenham, they have United.
So, okay, I don't count the last 4 games. Fine. Maybe Bournemouth a bit difficult.
Yeah, but maybe Tottenham and United guaranteed. But I think the next 4 games are going to be tough.
Newcastle and Man City are directly competing. With them for points.
Yeah.
So, Chelsea. They should have already beaten Brentford and
Who's this?
Ipswich.
Who's this?
Chelsea. They should have already beaten Brentford and Ipswich, and they should have been sitting in third position right now
And
with
holding.
most of the leverage, with
Correct.
Aston Villa having to play Man City and Newcastle. But we play Fulham and Everton next.
Yes.
If we don't make sure in these next two games where Everton can potentially take away
You
points,
can forget
then
it.
we must just forget about the
Because you have
Champions League.
Liverpool,
But we
you have
have
Newcastle.
but like I said, we have our chances in our hands because we still play Newcastle and Nottingham Forest.
I
So
think
if we
you
can't
guys
beat
you
those
guys
two
have
teams-
most difficult run. I can't see any fixture besides Man United. Besides Man United,
No, but then I mean we have to get the job done against
the tough teams, yeah, the best teams.
against the teams that we're directly competing for.
And that's Newcastle and
I rather
Nottingham.
we're playing Newcastle and Nottingham Forest in the last 2 out of our last 3 games than playing Southampton and Leicester, because it means we have to do the jobs for ourselves. We beat Newcastle.
Yeah.
They're deprived 3 points. We get 3 points over them. We beat Nottingham Forest. They're deprived 3 points. Other than we win Southampton, maybe they go beat a Brighton. Then it's still 3 points, 3 points. You know what I mean? So I prefer it this way. If we miss out, we miss out. But young boys.
Man City would like to salvage some pride. They have Everton, they have Aston Villa,
Man City, I think, have the easiest round.
they have Wolves, I agree. They have Southampton, they have Bournemouth, they have Fulham.
See? So Man City probably going to qualify for the Champions League with De Bruyne being on his.
They look like they could just be there.
With De Bruyne being on his Taylor Swift tour and all of that. So
yeah. All right.
Fixtures that stand out, like you
Yes,
said.
yes.
Got Man City double game week, which is obvious. West Ham vs Southampton. I'll look at that. We have a couple of double game week fixtures. Crystal Palace for Southampton. For Arsenal and Bournemouth. Obviously, I did mention Man City. Obviously, they play Everton and Aston Villa. And then, Arsenal, Ipswich and Crystal Palace. By far, obviously, the best fixtures. Yeah, this is the moment I was talking about when I was 2 weeks ago when I spoke about Saka. Now you can bring him.
Now it's time to bring
Now
in
you
Saka.
can bring him. And you're welcome.
Yeah, all right.
Captain choices. Should someone go into that?
I was about to say, someone let's just hit us with the captain choices.
Number 1, Salah. Number 2, Kevin De Bruyne.
Salah has one fixture.
Not Salah, man. Saka.
Yeah, I was about to say Salah has Leicester City.
Leicester City,
Unless you think Leicester is just gonna.
And Salah's form does not permit that.
He got a new contract, right?
Yeah, and he had 1 assist and nearly lost to West Ham. But
to West Ham, not Leicester City.
To West Ham.
He plays Leicester City after this. All right.
I'm not saying he won't score.
Yeah.
Maybe he even gets 12 points, but I'm not taking 12 points over Saka versus Ipswich and Crystal Palace. Where, he's got a chance for 2 bonus points twice. That's 6. And then appearance points and clean sheet points twice. That's 3. That's 6. That's just 12 points.
Literally for just doing nothing.
That are most likely there, even if he doesn't have the best game. Even if in the one game he scores the only goal of the game, and he gets the 3 bonus points in the other game, he has 2 assists.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, maths.
So, Saka first.
Number 1. Kevin De Bruyne number 2. KDB, of course, number 2.
Then what about Mateta?
Mateta.
Probably a punt with Rodgers there.
Newcastle and Man City. Those are 2 difficult games, my guy.
Doesn't mean that
but
they won't be goals.
they're in good form. But
doesn't mean that they wouldn't score.
But you saw the killers. But Rodgers is a killer. Ice cold, my guy. But I'll go with a punt and say I've liked what I've seen from Martinelli, so I'm gonna say Martinelli.
All right.
Martinelli in 3.
All right, you heard. I also had Saka, yeah, but I have Rodgers.
He played well, even against Madrid. I think I like the way he played.
Martinelli. All right. This is the double game week that is kicking off this Saturday. Okay, starting this Saturday. And then Arsenal have Champions League on Wednesday night.
Hey.
So hopefully they'll have the legs, as I'm saying. Mario? So those Arsenal assets, maybe you might also have to keep in mind that
I
Wednesday.
would obviously hold off till maybe Friday to make any changes because obviously Champions League, Europa League, and UEFA Conference League. But then I think they'll have the legs. I don't see why else. I think they'll because.
I mean, Saka also came back from injury, right? I don't think he even started the previous game. So
but he's been back from injury for a while. Let's give him that. He came back just before the first Madrid game. He played against Fulham. He came on.
He came on, and then this past game
started the whole game against
Madrid.
And obviously they were probably resting him for the next Madrid game as well. So if he got some time off now, it's not because of injury, it's just because they're planning for Wednesday, which is probably their priority.
So if he plays 90 minutes,
I would still take a punt on him. I mean, it's 2 games. He can come on as a server for one, start the other one. But then he's been out for so long. He's fresh. It's not like he's fatigued or anything like that.
And he's not necessarily injury prone. So
he starts building a head of steam. I saw there your boys were saying that they're going to close the roof. They had the Santiago Bernabeu. I don't know what I don't know what the significance of closing the roof. Okay, maybe you can explain. I just wanted.
Hey, my guy, we just had the roof literally from this season, so I don't know what history we have with the roof closed. We haven't been winning since we moved to this new stadium. So
maybe when the Slasa closes, you can't drive at Woma 120. 140
when it's open
because of the wind, baby girl's weave might fly off. So I thought maybe when the roof is closed, that's why when Mbappe was scared his weave would fly off and Vinicius and then. But now with the roof on,
the boys are gonna cook there.
The boys are going to cook.
Don't worry. The roof is gonna be closed.
The
pitch is gonna be put on. A nice 180 there, coming ready for the game.
Bluetooth, Babe Ruth, no tooth. Arsenal is winning by 5.
Can you, it's so...
Bluetooth, no roof, no tooth.
Yeah.
Arsenal by 5.
By 5. I can't believe this is you saying Arsenal is winning by 5 with that smile. Mane must be loving this. He's going to be watching this show.
They're already winning by 3.
He's going to watch this show for a long time.
They're already winning by 3. So.
All I'm saying is, if you know Madrid, if you've been watching football long enough, that is the Santiago Bernabeu.
This is not going to be the robbery of Anfield.
Remember this show, and let it be a reminder to people like Mario who forget who Real Madrid is. They are Madrid for a reason. They have that history. They know this competition.
The rooftop history.
So we shall see. See. All I'm saying is you can never write off Madrid. Never. But Mario, let's get into our mini league as we wrap up. We see that first position, top 2, nothing changed in that top 2. Petro and JP are still leading, separated by 3 points. Yes, 3 points between JP and Petro. Petro is leading, JP is chasing. Third, Mateo, Colon Jesus, he has climbed significantly so. I think probably from 7th position. Because now Kyle was 3rd, if you recall. Neil, I think, was 4th. And then Ryan was 5th. So Mateo coming through there, scoring 69 points. Let's see. Maybe he also has the assistant manager like you, Mario. Let us see.
Maybe he's using the Mario.
He does have an assistant manager.
What is it?
Chief strategy number 4.
Strategy number 4. Still, you left my chip strategy out here. Can't you? Didn't why is my chip strategy not up there? I had a powerful one.
So 69 points. That is Mateo also sitting with Eddie Howe, 10 points. But
69, but Mateo, what?
If we look at
he jumped on Eddie Howe.
These standout players, he has Isak as well as captain. He has Watkins, he has Mamouche, he has Mohamed Salah, he has Rogers. He has Murphy, he has Kakez.
Yeah.
Keke's coming through, and Virgil van Dijk. I was wondering where these points are coming from. Where this 9 was coming from
Who still
Virgil.
has Watkins? Yeah, this man.
So shout out Mateo.
Mateo is in the top 3. This is hectic.
Mateo bounced from, I said, 7th position to
So
number
it's
3.
like 34 points off Petro. And Petro wants to win the title for the first time.
Yes, for the first time.
First time.
JP wants to win it back to back.
First time.
For the first time. No one has won it back to back, and he's 3
Neil in the
points.
top 5. Last season.
Neil is trying to come back to show who. Who's the honor girl.
And we've got Kyle in the top 4.
He's
but
in the mix.
He dropped down from 3rd. But yeah, congratulations to Kyle, who's getting married in 2 months. 2 months to go, Kyle.
Shout out, Kyle.
2 months to
big
go.
Big one. Send that invite, bro. I'll be down there.
Congratulations to Kyle and Jody. I hope I remembered.
Yes.
His wife's name, yeah. Shout out.
So game week 39, we'll catch the flight, Carl. We'll catch the flight.
We'll shoot the podcast at his wedding.
We'll catch
at
the
reception,
flight.
the first ever.
Promise you, we'll be walking with his mics at your wedding, bro.
First ever FPL podcast wedding.
Yeah, that would be sick.
Crazy. But anyway.
But yeah, man, that's the top 10. And we see Dixon. He's also right up there. 8th position. Yes, he dropped a bit. But the game week is not over, as we said.
He's focusing on too much on Project Mbappe.
Priorities. My priorities, Dixon. Priorities.
Mateo Kovacic Jr. Okay, we see.
No, I think it's Project Mbappe, not Project.
No, I did say Project, but his son's name is the same as my Mateo
okay.
Mateo.
So I thought like maybe you were bringing Kovacic from Chelsea.
He's not even a Chelsea player anymore, man.
All right. So that was our mini league. So just a reminder that the deadline for Game Week 33 is Saturday the 19th at 2:30. So we are going into the Easter holidays, my friend. I think it's a big holiday in South Africa. I think it's a big holiday globally. But
yes, it is
the crucifixion of Jesus and the resurrection of Jesus.
Is it crucifixion?
Crucifixion. Something like that. English.
Crucifixion. Yes. Crucifixion of Jesus Christ and the resurrection.
We're not taking it. We're all different. ChatGPT could save us.
Easter Sunday, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's a big weekend.
Happy Easter to everybody who celebrates it. See, I'm rocking my St. Christopher carrying Jesus over the river pendant in honor of my guy. Love you, big guy. Anyway.
So yeah, it is a big.
Maybe it will rub off on my Chelsea and my FPL. And it's gonna be a happy Easter.
Well, hopefully you get your team sorted before you start jumping into the food and the 7 colors there, my friend.
Yeah.
Because we get excited, we celebrate.
Why are you looking at me like that?
I'm looking at your thingy. Your piece. Your Jesus piece.
I'm in pretty good shape.
So yeah, man. So guys, from us, please keep safe on the road. I think we cannot emphasize this any harder. In South Africa, we know that our road fatalities are quite high, most especially at this time of the year. So make sure that you take it easy on the roads. We will get there, arrive alive, but also maybe a message to our government. We usually don't do this, but we need trains.
Express trains.
Trains would resolve a lot of problems, but
bullet trains all over the country.
It would save a lot of lives, and reduce all this traffic. I don't think it's rocket science, but pollution. We don't talk politics in this show. But I think for all the managers, make sure that you have your team sorted. I'd rather say Thursday, maybe. Thursday, probably Wednesday if you're thinking of traveling, or on Thursday to beat the traffic wherever you're going to be going.
Or Friday night, if you think you'll make it.
Oh, Friday night, I doubt it, depending on what your plans are. But man, let's keep it easy. Let's take it easy, but not on FPL. You just gotta keep stepping on that, throttle, because we are going to the end of the season. But I think we're about to close, Mario. Just a reminder that we are available on all social media platforms. We are available on YouTube as well, if you're listening to us on audio. And if you're watching us on YouTube, and you will be driving, you can also catch us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well. But yeah, Mario, do you want to close for us?
Yeah, like I always say, I know people are gonna be celebrating, going to church. Some will be doing slalas, which means drinking and not going to bed. But yeah, be safe. Watch the games. Make sure your teams are set. And remember, men lie, women lie, but numbers never lie, baby.
You know what it is? I said, Mario, can you close for us? As if I was saying he must close
You
in
do a prayer.
You know. So maybe. Do you want to hit us with a prayer?
Save it for another time.
All right. We'll save it for the last episode. All right. Yeah, man. As Mario said, this is it from us. We shall catch you guys in the next episode. We out. Cheers.
Peace.